Okay, this video is going to be a little bit technical because I'm going to deal with modes. On this one string diatonically fretted instrument, you can see the modes, various modes, really easily. So I'm going to go through them, show you which ones I've got on this instrument, and hopefully you'll understand them better as a result. So what are modes? Modes are just another name for scales, types of scales. We talk about minor and major, and they're modes in themselves. But a mode is a more accurate way of describing the group of notes we're using in any one tune or song. Sometimes it's not enough to say major or minor. Sometimes it's better to say what actual mode it's in. And the mode that we all know is the Ionian mode, which is another name for the major scale. This one string is tuned to G, so if I play these notes, you'll instantly recognise the G major scale ascending, and that is another name for the Ionian mode. So it starts on the first note of the scale, the G. So the notes are G, A, B, C, D, E, F sharp, G. If I played F instead of F sharp, you'll hear that doesn't sound right, so I have to sharpen the F to make that correct. And so that is the Ionian mode. G Ionian. I can also do C Ionian on this instrument if I start on the 3rd fret. C, D, E, F, G, A, B, C. So that is C Ionian, or C major scale if you like. So there's 2 Ionian modes on this instrument, and you can see, because it's linear, it's really easy to see how it works. This instrument doesn't have every note available in music because it's diatonically fretted, so basically it only gives us notes in the key of G major. So we've got G, A, B, C, D, E. We've got an F, which is kind of extra, F sharp, and then we go back to G and it repeats. So Ionian, that's our first one. Let's look at another one which has a very interesting name. It's called Mixolydian. Mixolydian, okay? And this is how we understand Mixolydian. But basically, this is the Mixolydian mode. And you can hear it's almost the same as G major, but instead of having that note there, which is an F sharp, we have F. So we have G, A, B, C, D, E, F, G. So in other words, it contains the same notes that you find in C major, but instead of going from C up to C, you go G up to G. So there are no sharps or flats in G Mixolydian. Another way of thinking of G Mixolydian is a G major scale with a flatted 7th. So instead of having F sharp, you have F. So Mixolydian is basically a majorish mode, a major sort of sounding mode. So the way to find out what notes you need for G Mixolydian, well, you find the G, you go down a perfect 5th, which is 7 semitones. That takes you down to C. You use the C Ionian scale notes, that's C up to C. But instead of going from C to C, like I say, go G to G, and that gives you the notes you need for G Mixolydian. So G Mixolydian, to cut a long story short, is G, A, B, C, D, E, F, G, same as C major, going from G to G. And a tune that uses G Mixolydian is something like Norwegian Wood. It's actually an E on the record, but if I go that note there, that F there, instead of having an F sharp, that tells us that tune is in G Mixolydian, or G mix, sometimes people call it. And the confusion comes, of course, with the key signature, because with G mix, you may find there's no sharps or flats in the key signature. You might think that must be C major or A minor, but it could be G Mixolydian because there are no sharps and flats. It uses the same notes as C major. Another mode is the Dorian mode. And if I use A Dorian as my example, basically the Dorian mode is the same as the major scale, but with the 3rd and 7th flattened. Okay? So if you had A major, for instance, you should know there are 3 sharps in A major. If you don't, I'm telling you. F, C and G, okay? right, you would flatten the third and the seventh. So instead of having A, B, C sharp, D, E, F sharp, G sharp, A, you'd have A, B, C, D, E, F sharp would be the only sharp, G, A. And the way to figure it out, what notes you need for A Dorian, is you go down a major second from A, okay, which will take you to G, 2 semitones, and you use the same notes you use in G major, G Ionian, but instead of going from G to G, you go from A to A. So in the key synergy, you might well find an F sharp, a single F sharp. So it's a bit confusing, isn't it? If you see a single F sharp, you might think, oh, G major or E minor, but actually it could be A Dorian. So A Dorian sounds like this. And the notes are A, B, C, D, E, F sharp, G, A. If you want an example of a tune in a Dorian mode, Drunken Sailor is in a Dorian mode, because you've got an F sharp there. That tells you that you're in A Dorian. Okay, so in A Dorian you may see an F sharp in the key signature, so just be careful with that. And on the chart I'm going to provide you with, you will see at the bottom of this section all the notes used, and I've given you one kind of octave in bold and all the other notes a little bit smaller, so you can see that, you know, it obviously repeats to a certain extent. So that's A Dorian. Okay, so it uses the same notes as the major scale, that is a major second below A, so same as G major. I've come up with a little phrase here which might help you sort out the modes. And my phrase is, ID, please Lydia, my appearance lies. Okay, I, Ionian, D, Dorian, please, Phrygian, we haven't dealt with that one yet, Lydia, okay, that is Lydian, my, Mixolydian, appearance, Aeolian, lies, Locrian. Those are the modes. So it's Ionian, Dorian, Phrygian, Lydian, Mixolydian, Aeolian and Locrian. And if you remember ID, please Lydia, my appearance lies, that gives you the correct order. So for instance, Ionian, okay, major scale starts on the root note, starts on the first of the scale. Dorian we've dealt with, that goes to the second, okay, goes from the second. So if you like, if you think of G major, okay, G, A, okay, second of the scale, or if you like, think of it the other way around, A, go down a major second. You'll get the idea as we go along, no doubt. Another mode you can get on this, a modal scale you can get on this instrument, is A Aeolian. We'll play you A Aeolian, so it starts on A just like A Dorian does, but it is slightly different, and this is how it goes. Now A Aeolian, the Aeolian mode, some people call it the natural minor scale, and basically it's the same as the major scale, but the third, the sixth and the seventh are all flattened, so your three sharps you find in A major are all flatted, so there's no sharps in this. A Aeolian uses the same notes as the Ionian C scale, so in other words you go down a major sixth from A, that will take you to C, that's 9 semitones in case you're interested, okay? So you go from C up to C, and the C Ionian, C major scale, that's obviously C, D, E, F, G, A, B, C, no sharps or flats, but instead of going from C to C, go A to A, and that gives you A, B, C, D, E, F, G, A, no sharps and flats, A, B, C, D, E, F, G, A. If you want an example of a tune in an Aeolian mode, in fact in A Aeolian, All Along the Watchtower, that was made famous, well, written by Bob Dylan, made famous by Jimi Hendrix. So you've got the A, G, G, F, 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 F. I mean, basically any song that's got an A minor G F chord progression, that is an Aeolian mode, a song or a tune in Aeolian mode. The most common modes are Ionian and Mixolydian, which are both major modes, and Dorian and Aeolian, which are both minor modes. But there are others, and they are quite interesting, so we're going to deal with those, and we can find examples of them on this funny little instrument. Remember my saying, ID please, so number 3 is going to be a key number in this. Phrygian is a new mode, Phrygian mode. It's the same as an Ionian scale, but the 2nd, 3rd, 6th and 7th are all flatted. They're all lowered by 1 semitone. We're going to do B Phrygian mode, and so we're going to start on G, 8, B. So there's our B note there, and we're going to go from B up to B. And the way to sort out the Phrygian mode is you have to go down a major third from the note, so B, go down a major third, that takes you to G, use the same notes you use in G Ionian, so that's G up to G with an F sharp, okay? So if you go from B to B and just raise the F like this, you've got B, C, D, E, F sharp, G, A, B. And that is a mode of B Phrygian. That's the sort of scale, if you like, of B Phrygian. So it uses the same notes as the major scale of G, but going from B up to B, not G up to G. So if you had a scale of B major or B Ionian, you'd have B, C sharp, D sharp, E, F sharp, G sharp, A sharp, B. There are 5 sharps in B major, and you flat 4 of those, the 2nd, 3rd, 6th and 7th, okay, to give you B Phrygian. I mean, chances are you'll never use this mode, but you just might find this interesting. It's got a kind of minorish feel to it, and as I say, whatever note it is, you drop down 4 semitones or a major third. So from B down to G, use the same notes in G major, but go from B up to B, and that is B Phrygian. Here it comes again. B, C, D, E, F sharp, G, A, B. So the only sharp that doesn't get flatted is the F sharp, or the others, or the other sharps you have in B, B Ionian, B major, if you like, or 5 sharps. It's only one of them that doesn't get flatted, and that's the F sharp. So that's the Phrygian mode. We're getting there. Another Dorian mode you can get, by the way, is D Dorian. So let's find D. G, A, B, C, D. So it's fret number 4. Remember, to get the Dorian, you go down a major 2nd. So you go down from D to C. Okay, use the same notes in C Ionian, C major. So that's going to be no sharps and flats. Instead of going from C to C, go from D to D. So D up to D, no sharps and flats. That sounds like this. D, E, F, G, A, B, C, D. That is D Dorian, a minorish mode. As I say, you go down a major 2nd, 2 semitones, and that gives you D Dorian. If you want to think of it as D major, but you flat the 3rd and the 7th, okay, that's another way of looking at it. But find the D, go down a major 2nd, takes you to C, use the same notes in C major, but go from D up to D instead of C up to C, and that's D Dorian. We've got another Aeolian mode on this instrument, E Aeolian. Remember, Aeolian equals Ionian scale with flatted 3rd, 6th and 7th. E Aeolian uses the same notes as the Ionian G scale from the 6th E onwards. So we want E Aeolian. You have to drop down a major 6th or 9 semitones, okay, and that will take you down to G. Okay, so to get E Aeolian, you use the notes you use in G major or G Ionian, G up to G, so you've got an F sharp. So G to G using an F sharp, instead of going from G to G, you go E to E. So E Aeolian is E, F sharp, G, A, B, C, D, E. So that gives you E, F sharp, G, A, B, C, D, E. And that is E Aeolian. We're nearly there, stay with me. Right, I've got a couple of weird ones now. Another mode is Lydian. Remember my saying, ID please, Lydia. Lydia is the fourth word in our saying, so that number 4 is going to be important. We're going to drop down a perfect fourth from whatever note we want. Well, this is F Lydian, so a perfect fourth down from F is C. Go backwards from F, okay, F, E, D, C, or if you like 5 semitones. So you've guessed it, you're going to use the same notes in C major, C Ionian mode if you like, but instead of going from C to C, you're going to go from F to F. So this gives you the Lydian mode of F. So got to start pretty high up, F, G, A, B, C, D, E, F. It's got a pretty weird sound. You're probably never going to use this, but you might find it interesting nonetheless. Another way of thinking of this is a major scale with a raised fourth. So instead of having B flat, you've got B. That's where that B comes from, that weird note. F, G, A, B, that's the weird note, isn't it? And that is F Lydian mode. Right, one more we can find. This is a pretty weird one. If you think you're unlikely to use Phrygian or Lydian, I'd say you're almost definitely never going to use the next one, which is called Locrian. My sentence to remind you is ID please, Lydia. My appearance lies. And lies is for L, which is for Locrian. Right, Locrian equals Ionian scale with flatted 2nd, 3rd, 5th, 6th and 7th. It's crazy, isn't it? F sharp Locrian uses the same notes as the Ionian G scale from the 7th onwards. So in other words, the note we've got is F sharp. Go down a major 7th from the note we're going to use, which is F sharp, and that is 11 semitones, and that takes you down to G. Use the same notes in G major from G up to, but instead of going from G to G, go F sharp to F sharp, and that gives you these notes: F sharp, G, A, B, C, D, E, F sharp. Okay? And that is the mode of F sharp Locrian. I'm only saying this because you actually can find it on this instrument. It's just purely for information. I can't believe you'd ever play a tune in that mode. Having said that, somebody's bound to get in touch with me and say, oh, I've used that one all the while. So that is just about it. Those are all the modes, the sort of nice normal ones like Ionian, Mixolydian, Aeolian and Dorian. They're the big 4 if you like, if you're a folk or pop musician. And then you get the weirder ones, Phrygian, Lydian, Locrian. You know, they're a bit weirder, but I suppose it's as well to know them. And it just struck me the other day, this simple little instrument is a really good way to demonstrate those modes in that kind of linear fashion. So that was a bit of a rigmarole. I'll be interested to see if I get any hits on this at all. If you have any questions, do get in touch with me. As I say, the reason we use modes is just so we can describe more accurately the group of notes that we are using in any given tune or song, rather than just saying major or minor. It's much better to say, you know, Ionian, Mixolydian, Aeolian, etc. And remember my special phrase, ID, please Lydia, my appearance lies. I'll put this sheet that I've obviously been looking at during this video, I'll put it up on my site so you'll be able to find it. I'll put it under my Cigar Box Guitar Tabs menu, and if you want to look at it or download it, you can. And you know, I found it quite interesting sorting these modes out, but it's a little dry, admittedly. But I must admit, up to about a year ago, I was fairly ignorant about modes myself, so I've been fascinated to learn about them and quite eager, of course, to use them.